It's the Chinese. Hello, slitty eyes.
Yeah.
Traditional greeting. He's looking at the menu. Gosh, anyone to eat? Tony Blair. I'm going to shoot you, and you.
How did the Queen prepare for the arrival of the President?
She sellotaped the old man's mouth shut.
And so how did they go about entertaining the President?
With the corgis.
They gave him a grand banquet. Mm-hmm. An army band played hits from the shows. I'm afraid that is true, yeah. I'm sure he enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, Hello Dolly and Simon and Garfunkel, they played a lot of that.
Hello Dalai, presumably. No, I'm probably not.
Good.
And there was a bagpipe finale as well. And still he wouldn't go. It's so where else has he visited since he's been over here?
The Globe Theatre. He went to the Globe Theatre because I live opposite it and I videoed it in case somebody shot him.
What I can't bear about this is it's assumed that sort of people who are English and Scottish therefore, you know, sort of automatically hate each other. And I mean, I'm half English and half Scottish, and you just get the impression as soon as football involved, I'm meant to sort of beat myself up. Which I don't really want to do.
Only wish, can't we? They'd actually brought Bournemouth to a standstill for 3 hours.
So, no change there.
Yeah.
Copyright Angus, years ago.
Please, help yourself.
Are you dishing out your catchphrases? Oh, well, can I grab one if offensive?
OK, I'll try and think of one between now and then.
In what way?
God, that must be one of the dullest catchphrases anyone's ever had in me.
Suits you, though.
Anyway, back to
Unlike
the
that
party
jacket.
conference. Yeah, it started.
It's fox skin.
Most
Nice
certainly
autumnal
isn't.
colours, though.
It's crimpline.
It's crumpling from back here.
Anyway...
John Prescott, what would a Labour government do for the trade unionists at GCHQ?
Immediately return them to work. We have no... I should say CGHQ.
GCHQ.
Yeah, no. Immediately return them to work at the GCHQ. Immediately return them to work at
You suggested that we'd be hearing the F word on kids' TV soon, didn't you, once upon a time?
I said I wouldn't be surprised.
If you were on. Martin Clunes reads Jack and Ulrich.
It was...
Listen with mother... That won't go out.
So, how did it come to get your surname?
It was my granddad who was an asteroid enthusiast. He was a professional. He wasn't an asteroid. He used to be very big in asteroids. Well, and they named an asteroid after him for his work. And
so instead of like getting a gold clock, they said that one's yours.
That's actually exactly as it was. And you think that's funny, do you?
No. I'm just trying to...
Do you have an asteroid named after you?
No, I have several planets.
Oh, that's right, yes. Paul Jupiter, is it? No, yes.
Uranus, mostly.
And in Regent's Park, London Zoo's most talented monkey does his impression of William Hague.
You didn't know the monkey?
Well, he was the only person who was famously bearded, whereas the others shaved off their moustaches in order to get into the cabinet.
So you're arguing with the biographer of Karl Marx that he's wrong and you say you're right?
Well, as far as I'm aware, Karl Marx didn't shave it off in order to get into the cabinet.
He shaved off his moustache, as well as the beard.
To get into the cabinet?
Yeah.
Into the current Labour cabinet?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have Marx in the present cabinet anyway, whether he was alive, dead, shaved, unshaved.
No, obviously, because he's a socialist. So he is the odd one out. He was famously bearded, which fortunately none of us around here have ever been, apart from Paul.
It does look like me, doesn't it?
Next, le roast beef, a what?
Dangereux.
De merde.
No.
Potillon escapade.
Is that Spanish?
I just made it up. You speak Spanish and I didn't even know it.
What has struck me is that at the turn of the century, the Church of England was pro-fox hunting and anti-buggery, and it's now pro-buggery and anti-fox hunting.
But presumably with buggery, you don't have to chase your quarry through the countryside.
You ask Peter Tatchell.
I don't know, they move pretty quick on Hampstead Heath, don't they?
How do you know?
Just about to ask that
Yes. Only when you're there. Quick, it's his lot. Pretend you're an undercover policeman. Quickly, swallow the evidence. So...
For round 2 this week, we turn to London, reminiscent of Dick Whittington, and to the candidates for mayor, reminiscent of Dick Turpin. For it's time to unveil our superannuated, digital, laser-enhanced scandalometer.
Why am I not on there?
Are you a candidate?
Yes.
I'm terribly sorry, we had no idea. This is this week's announcement that the government is launching a fresh investigation into Mr Archer's share dealings in Anglia Television. The man who stands to benefit most is the defeated Tory candidate Stephen Norris, who was accused of saying of his rival, "I will never ever support Archer alive or dead." When asked about the outburst on BBC Radio, he had this to say.
I don't recognise them. It's not words I've ever used about anybody in any circumstances.
However, this does seem to be somewhat at odds with his views as expressed here.
As I will never, ever support Archer, alive or dead.
So,
all the others were head girls apart from you.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The answer is that they were all head girls except for yourself.
me. How marvellous.
Ian was a head girl at school.
You were head girl at
Yes.
Ardingly, weren't you?
Where?
I wasn't head girl, no.
What's the name of the school?
The name of the school was Ardingly College.
Guess what, Mummy? I'm head boy.
Well, as opposed to guess what, Mum, I've got GCSE metalwork. Right.
CSE ungraded. So which school did you go to then?
What's it to you?
Well, you're asking Ian about his school. Why don't we ask you about yours?
Caterham School.
Caterham? What were you, head cook?
Here's the big one, Paul. Ask Lord Onslow which school he went to.
Lord? I'll whisper. I'll whisper. Tooting-Beck Grammar.
That's right.
You've done well for yourself.
Yes, can you remember your motto?
Who are you looking at? I'm sorry.
That must have been a tough school. On the playground. On the banner outside the school gate.
And of course, you mustn't forget the Scorpions, the German heavy metal band who were there.
That was the lead singer, was it?
Singing...
Wir sind eine Volk.
We are...
You're laughing, but you don't know what you're laughing at. You're just laughing to show off.
No, they do know what it means. It's only you who don't.
What, everybody in this country speaks German apart from me?
I can't believe you only just noticed that.
Which, this is
Britain that we're living in, isn't it?
We lost the war, did no one tell you?
I went to sleep, I woke up, I was in a shower, everything was different.
No, that's Dallas.
That was the reference I was making, but thank you for pointing it out.
Just thought I'd underline.
Perhaps I should have said it in German.
You mentioned George Bush. Yes, he was there. And his... what's his son been up to this week?
George Bush Jr.
He got embarrassed. He's a presidential candidate. He couldn't name the recent strongman who's taken over Pakistan, whereas John could do that anytime.
Yes. I won't, but I could.
Have a look at this.
Can you name the president of Chechnya?
No, can you?
Prime Minister of India?
The new Prime Minister of India is, no. The new Pakistani general has just been elected. He's not elected. This guy took over office. He appears he's going to bring stability to the country, and I think that's good news for the subcontinent.
And you can name him?
General. I can't name the general.
And it's?
General.
So who is it, John, in general?
No, I said I could. I didn't say I would.
Do we get a point if we name it?
OK, go on then.
Musharraf.
Very good, but no, you don't get a point. It is the 10th
Prime Minister of India?
Yeah, go on.
Vajpayee?
President of Chechnya?
Don't know, 2 out of 3, give us a point.
Unfortunately. And where did they find this, this mammoth?
In the Arctic Circle.
Yes.
Oh, in Musharraf.
It's in Siberia, a place called Katanga. Rather bizarrely for any Lenny. Yes.
It's in the Congo.
Not anymore, Mark. It's in Siberia now.
That's global warming for you.
Can you skim them?
I beg your pardon?
Skim them, not skin them, skim them. Like that.
Yeah, across water, yeah.
Elephants?
Yeah, oh, you've got Well, you go to any seaside resort that's near a zoo, gangs of kids, I mean, if they're people from tower blocks, they've got nothing better to do. They get hold of elephants and they skin them across the water, and there's some old deer in a rowing boat saying, oh, and it seems to be boom, boom, right on top of
them. Now he's talking sense.
You get a tusk for your rollocks, you soon know about it, I tell you.
Next, house sitter prepares to explain what?
Car in bedroom.
The burglary.
Car in bedroom.
Theory of relativity. A lot of people ask. Ferret in
house
trouser.
sitters particularly.
Car in bedroom.
You're obsessed with this car in bedroom, aren't you?
Yeah, because it's right.
Is the right answer, the car in bedroom.
Is that one that was it a Land Rover? Somebody was driving a Land Rover and it just went down the hill and there's a bloke just sitting, watching his house and sitting there and he just went out and made a cup of tea and his Land Rover smashed right through the roof.
And do you know what happened to the Land Rover halfway down?
I don't know.
Went into second gear.
No, the lights came on, apparently.
Ooh, that's a bit spooky.
And I think it's a safety feature that Land Rover would probably be quite proud of to know.
It's a warning.
It is.
You're just sitting there reading the paper, the lights come on, don't bother looking out the window, just run for it.
Next, a banana boat crashes into what?
Lighthouse. There was this boat that crashed into a lighthouse. It was full of bananas. It's definitely a lighthouse because there was a bloke in the lighthouse saying, oh, it's getting, you know, should we go to bed? And he turned the light off and he forgot it was a lighthouse. And the banana boat is a boat made out of this huge banana going along like this and they crashed straight into it.
Is virtually the right answer. Flashing lighthouses, in fact.
But he didn't turn the light off. It was blaring. No one could believe that this man had hit the best-known lighthouse.
Well, he thought it was a Land Rover coming towards him. Can I just ask something? Does Ian's thing actually go up to double figures? You never know, do you? Hit it. Give it a hit. Hit it.
Have you ever met Peter Mandelson, Giles?
Yes.
Right.
I didn't inhale. He's a nice man, actually.
Is he?
Yes,
Right.
and I think he regards you as a bit of a role model.
He's...
For what?
But you just said he was a nice man.
No, I just meant the natty dressing, the cross-gender appeal, all of that. It works.
Would you like to clarify that exactly?
I think he means neither men nor women fancy you.
I came to this is because my wife was so interested in him.
And is she getting better?
She's quite fantastic.
Yes, she's very well, actually, yeah.
You actually believe it, don't you?
Well, William Hague made a good joke,
Oh,
actually.
yes, he did. Say it. Go. So good.
Actually, I've gone off it.
No, go on. So what was the joke?
It was a very good joke.
I bet this will be funny.
It was a very good one.
I'm laughing already.
No, he said Prescott made the announcement about Park and Ride, and he said the only thing that Prescott would know about Park and Ride was parking one of his Jags and driving off in the other one. Which I thought was quite good for a politician.
But why would he want to do that? If he's in a car, why would he park one car to get into another car?
Why have two Jags? You both obviously like driving both of them.
Well, maybe his brother wants to borrow it.
Has he got a brother?
The other car is...
You don't know that he hasn't.
I don't.
Well then. Has he got a brother? Has he got a brother?
Look at Angus, he wouldn't know.
It's
not on the sheet.
There might be a 1,000,001 chance. 1,000,001 chance. Just might be there.
He's got two brothers.
What are they called?
They're called Frederick and James.
OK.
You know that's not true.
It's an absolute lie. But he doesn't know it's not true. What did they run out of in the House of Lords this week?
Swarfiga. The Queen likes to be greased down before she starts a speech. She slips out of the car that much quicker.
My government tonight.
So, she's been greased since the 50s. You try and assassinate her, somebody tries to squeeze her, whoop, she's up, she's away, she's gone.
Could be a new soft drink, though.
What, Fantaberry?
Fantaberry. It's a Ribena-y version. I'd buy it.
Well, you'd be alone.
You know nothing about soft drinks, Merton.
Well, I've never been so insulted all my life. I'm going home. I've been stapled to the table. What's happening? Well, I couldn't leave for 9 years.
And what's the tune that...
Old Lang Syne. Yep. I've not heard it yet. It sounds a bit of a mixture. Have you got a bit of it?
You're quite fortunate. We were going to play it, but it was just too ghastly.
Oh, go on.
Go on.
Sing a bit.
Sing a bit.
Come on, Angus, you must have some talent locked up in that bloody world. You can't be reading out loud and that's it, surely. That can't be it.
Don't you, in fact, do rather good impersonation of Mr. Off-Hire?
Well, occasionally.
Come on.
I think I have to join Equity along with you to get into the performing
Have you started?
business. No, I haven't.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's good.
If you close your eyes, you'd swear you were sitting next to him.
So, Barbara's bear, then, you mentioned that. What, do you remember the name of Barbara Carpenter's
Dame Barbara Carpenter's bear is called the Prince of Love.
Oh,
And he is covered with sort of pink ribbons and little gold medallions. And all these bears, you know, they're marvellous. They're really good eggs in their own way.
Oh, there's Shagger Norris. Don't laugh, he's the sensible candidate. Anyway, Jeff got his comeuppance, and we mustn't gloat because it's incredibly funny.
So what was the alibi he asked his friend to give, the false alibi?
Well, he got someone else to lie for him. He was presumably bored of doing it for himself, so...
We can say all this now, isn't it wonderful?
Yeah. It's a tosspot.
Yeah.
Somebody says he's on the brink of committing suicide, and somebody else says that, oh, the public have been very supportive of him. Combine the two, he should commit suicide in public. He could be his own hangman. People are clapping.
And did you read about when their relationship blossomed initially?
Hang on a second, you said something in the middle of that which was desperately important. I think you're from another planet.
That was given to aliens, yeah.
You are from another planet, aren't you? Go on, admit it.
Look at that shirt. Pathetic, isn't it?
Their romance, when did it first blossom?
Is the tie actually made out of the shirt?
Do you use the computer? You look as if you do on the news.
One finger, yes.
But when you do it at the end of the news, when you go... What are you doing then?
I thought that was a knitting machine. I thought that's what it was.
Yeah, well,
I thought you were playing the theme tune.
The saturation coverage of the Jeffrey Archer scandal in the news this week. There are no other stories to cover, but that does give us the perfect opportunity to present our very own general knowledge quiz and demonstrate our panel's depth and breadth of knowledge on a variety of subjects. So, fingers on the buzzers. Which queen ruled Britain from 1837 to 1901? Yes, Paul and Alex.
Queen Victoria.
Correct. And how much money did Jeffrey Archer pay a prostitute at the station of that name in 1984? Yes, Ian and Anna?
£2,000.
£2,000, now known as the full Archer.
Correct. When Jeffrey Archer was elected MP for Louth at the age of 29, he claimed to be the youngest MP in the House.
He wasn't.
3.
He was, in fact, the...
Third.
Fourth youngest, correct.
What do you mean correct? You just gave the answer. He said third, you said fourth, you said correct.
The actual question was it true or false? And it was false, so Ian got it right. Next. When he won a seat on the GLC in 1967, Mr. Archer claimed to be the youngest...
It was false. He wasn't the youngest.
Yeah, he wasn't, no.
That's right. How did Lord Archer describe his occupation on his marriage certificate?
Researcher.
Research graduate, yes. And is this true or Archer?
It's Archer. It's Archer.
It's an Archer.
It's an Archer.
It's an Archer. He was studying an education degree at a related college.
That's right. He was never a graduate, let alone a research graduate. How many expense claims was Archer accused of fiddling when raising funds?
5,648.
Lower.
5,648.
It was 8.
Higher.
26.
Higher.
29.
Higher.
32.
56.
33, 34, 35, 36, 82, 41.
60 is, in fact, the answer, which none of you got, in fact, in the end. After awarding Kathleen Burnett of Trumpington first prize in a short story competition?
It was a story called A Twist and Tell, which was featured... you found out at the end of the story that the narrator was a cat. He then wrote a story 18 months later called A Twist and Tell, which you found out the narrator was a cat.
Is the right answer for 1 point. Very good. On his visit to Kurdistan, how did Archer greet the assembled crowd?
Bastard Kurds. That's what the translation was. He thought he'd learnt a bit of Kurdish. And he was addressing them all saying, Bastard Kurds!
Correct. He mistakenly said bastard Kurdistan in the local language.
Worse, he could have said lemon curds.
We may be coming to that later.
Oh, will we?
During an athletics race at Oxford in 1963... It's Paul?
Well, we had it on the programme the other week. He sort of jumped the gun 3 times. He should have been disqualified, but he carried on running anyway and said, no, I'm in the race anyway, and then carried on.
5-point penalty for interrupting. Ian and Anna?
Can we have the rest of the
yes,
question,
you can have the
please?
rest of the question in the
Jeremy.
time-honoured tradition. During an athletics race at Oxford in 1963, what achievement propelled Archer into the national press?
He ran 100 yards in less than 10 seconds.
No. Cheering on competitors, he was hit by a discus and stretchered off. What nicknames did he give his 2 Kurdish friends, Brusk Saib and Naheem Zahawi?
Lemon. And Douglas.
Half right, but you need to stay on the food theme.
Oh, bean curd.
Bean curd and lemon curd. And who did Portillo appear on an election poster with this week?
Jeffrey Archer.
Jeffrey Archer, yes.
With the Labour Party, you've got it on a postcard and they're putting it through doors in Kensington and Chelsea.
There was someone else who capitalised on the Archer story for a poster campaign this week as well. Did you see this? Although this was Vaseline. Sorry, Jeffrey, not even we can save your skin this time.
It's Beatles. Mao Zedong is mentioned in the song Revolution. Bob Dylan's mentioned in the song Your Blues. The Walrus is mentioned in the song I Am the Walrus. And Jeffrey Archer's there because he appeared with the Beatles in 1963, having raised money with them to Oxfam. 2 points, please.
Yes, in fact, we can see Jeffrey Archer here, pictured with the Beatles.
But he appears in the song as well. Very, very bad paperback writer.
Yeah, so where does Chairman Mao...
Revolution. If you're going to carry pictures of Chairman Mao, that's the lyric there.
You aren't going to get...
Anywhere, anyhow.
Yeah.
Forget Keats. That was John Lennon. Phew.
Yes.
You don't like the Beatles, do you, Ian? You don't like the Beatles, you don't like football. What's the matter with you?
I didn't say I didn't like the Beatles. I just said the lyrics are terrible. They're just garbage.
I Am the Walrus. Surely you must enjoy that.
If it were a song about a walrus, I'm sure it'd be very interesting.
What is it a song about?
I've absolutely no idea.
Then how do you know it's not about a walrus? It does say I am the walrus, which gives me the idea that there is a walrus connection within the song.
Elaborate.
I am the walrus, they are the Eggmen, coo-goo ka-choo.
So if you're not a Beatles fan, you're more what? Piccadilly Witch?
Handel's
Middle
Messiah?
of the road?
Alma
Right.
Cogan.
He's never heard of Alma Cogan.
Big fan of Alma Cogan.
Never heard. Who's Alma Cogan?
She sang Shrimp Boats Are Coming In. I have no idea who Alma Cogan is.
You must think of Ian as a trainee judge.
Weren't you the subject of someone's poem once upon a time?
Why do you keep getting it?
Yeah, what's the matter with you? Do you want to go out with her? Ask her then. Weren't you this, weren't you that?
It's true, though, isn't it?
Trainee what?
What, do you want to go out with her?
That's obviously true. Mandelson goes into what zone?
Boy.
Right, this is a demonstration in Seattle.
Against the World Trade Organisation.
Uh-huh.
Now, did you know that Boris's dad is one of those demonstrators in Seattle?
That's absolutely true.
Is it right?
Is it true? Did your dad, or did he not, dress up in a Ninja Turtle outfit and embarrass you by being one of those...
No, I'm glad you mentioned that. Actually, it wasn't he was a loggerhead turtle. He was, and he did jolly well. And he stormed those RoboCop policemen.
Just run that.
And there was a first-class piece of reporting about it.
By himself in your magazine.
Right, I wasn't exactly.
Fine piece by Boris's dad in Boris's mag. No, but you should.
Well, I don't think I should discriminate against my family.
But yeah, you were on record saying he was magnificent.
Well, I think he was.
Yeah.
Did he get it?
Come on. I mean, you know, if your father turned up as a turtle...
I'd put him in a home.
I think you'd feel proud.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's already broken out of her.
No, Oh, he mentions Peter Mandelson's private life and the whole thing's cut.
Yeah.
In which case that would be cut from the show, in which case there'd be no point
Is
in
that
showing
really
it
true?
to you.
Is it still the case? You cannot mention...
Try it, Boris,
What?
see what happens.
You're not allowed to mention that Peter Mandelson's won't go out.
Really? Could you do a sort of IRA type dubbing thing so that they, what they used to do is, could you have an actor saying it?
I think almost certainly not, Boris. Yeah.
Well, try it, Boris. You move your lips and I'll do the bit. Mike, Peter Mandelson is. That should be all right. We'll go away with that.
Excellent.
I don't know what he's complaining about, the great big Mary. So, is it?
This is the Elgin marbles. They're marvellous.
Mm-hmm.
And they're here.
Right, and who's complaining?
Oh, the Greeks. They want them back.
Right.
Anything old and Greek they want back.
You can have Prince Philip.
They can have it.
Do you think he's slightly racist at all? Do you know how he described the Puerto Ricans the other day?
No.
Fat,
Wait a minute.
semi-savages and unbelievably loud.
Could have been talking about you, Boris.
Rhubarb. No. We can't have
Stop
that
giving
sort
him
of
a nudge, will you, Ian?
We can't.
Last time you were on this programme...
No. We can't have that.
Why did you come back onto this programme again?
Well, basically, because for the money. I'm not a...
Because last time we were on, you created this enormous stink because you said everything was
I know.
rehearsed.
I want to apologise for that. I'm very sorry about that.
Well, that's fair
It was a great
enough.
mistake.
Because Norman Tebbit then started having a go as well.
Did he?
Norman Tebbit said, well, of course, these people, they can't improvise live.
No. I want to make it clear to all the little children who are watching and who may have sometimes sort of felt, wondered, like whether Father Christmas exists, whether this show is entirely, as an absolutely sort of brilliant flow of spontaneity. It is.
It is.
It is. And
well said, Boris. Thank you.
No, it really is. It is.
Shall I leave it at
Can you
that?
stand up, Janet?
I'm in leather. Look, there's nothing wrong with my outfit. Oh, I'm going to... Well,
No, you're right.
nothing wrong.
Very nice.
It's beautiful.
Would you like to see what I'm wearing?
Yeah, let's say you look fantastically elegant.
Look at that. Your turn, Boris.
How deliberate.
do I have to stand up?
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wearing a sweat. Hi. Ian. Go on.
Has he got the dress on?
No dress.
We win. Yeah.
This is the Turner Prize. This is a bloke who does video art, and he did a recreation of a scene in a Buster Keaton movie where a house falls down and the bloke is standing in the window. But this has already been done by Buster Keaton, but he's done it again, so it's art. And he's done it very slowly, so it's very good art.
Do you know, sometimes I do wonder about you, Ian.
What do you wonder, Janet?
Is it really necessary to be such a Philistine? Just out of interest, what kind of art do you have on your
He's got a
bed?
lovely Athena Reproductions.
It's a tennis girl with no shorts scratching her ass.
Boris, what art do you have on your bedroom wall?
Well, I paint myself, actually, to be
Do
honest.
you?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
Do you get into bed before you're dry? I've never heard of this, Pop. What does POP stand for?
Oh,
What
no.
does POP stand for?
Oh, no.
What are you doing under the table, Boris? You're not going to pop now, are you? Don't wipe your hair, for God's sake. It's like that film, The Trouble with Mary. It'll be like that.
Irish snail threatens what?
Threatens the Pope by climbing on a stepladder and waving a razor in his face. I'm after you, you dirty little bugger. You come here, you dirty little bugger. I'll have you know.
It's not actually that story. No.
Is it not? It should be.
Yeah, no, you have done some modelling, haven't you, yourself?
Oh, have I?
Oh, yes. Only a few years ago, we can see Bill modelling for Versace there.
Very nice.
Can I just make it clear, I'm not any sort of a transvestite.
Oh, come on, everybody's some sort of
I was younger, I was foolish, it was the spring.
The answer is that they've all killed Germans, except Strudel, who was killed by an Austrian, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Strudel was run over by Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was reversing his military jeep. Lucky was a guide dog who so far killed 4 owners in Germany. He led one out in front of a bus. He led a second one over a pier. Third one over a railway platform, and the 4th one into oncoming traffic.
After the second one, what made people think it was a good guide dog?
Well, he was going to be put down, but his trainer saved him by saying he just needs to brush up a little on his skills.
There'll be some protest about this programme from dog lovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why bring it up? Why hold it against
Could I just clarify things? The dogs are fine.
Except Strudel. Three-quarters of the dogs are fine.
yeah.
Strudel's not terribly fine.
That dog died to give you a question.
Oh no, I killed the dog. Perhaps one day you will be used in a topical nudes quiz.